Hello and good evening. I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and money mindset coach. Welcome to my live, everyone. I am going live. I'm going to plug in my phone because it's a little low on charge. Okay. Going live on the Facebooks, LinkedIn, YouTube, and over here on my phone on Instagram. And today I want to talk about a tendency that I notice a lot with my clients, people in my world, and with myself. I'm not gonna say that I don't do this because that would be absolute bullshit. Procrastiplanning. It's a term that I think I've made up. Someone else might have coined it before me, but whatever. Procrastiplanning is what people do when they're being massive weenies in their businesses. Hi, Gabe. Welcome. Great to have you here. So let's talk about procrastination in general. Okay. It's something that I am extremely well-versed in because I do it so often. Procrastinating. There are so many different theories on why we procrastinate. The theory that I kind of adhere to and kind of follow, hi Jade, welcome, is the idea that we procrastinate because we want to avoid bad feelings. And bad feelings could be, oh God, like what if I screw it up? Oh God, like what if people reject me? Oh God, like what if I, start doing it and I realize that this is way harder and I'm just not qualified to be here. Procrastination also happens when the thing you're going to do isn't something that you enjoy doing. Okay. So for instance, I hate bookkeeping. So early on in my business, I avoided doing it a lot, and it made it really, really fun for my bookkeeper at the end of the year when we had to play detective on what past Katie decided to spend money on. But here's where it becomes very, very dangerous for you when you're in the beginning stages of your business. And if you're joining and you have questions, or if you're guilty of this, please pop any messages in the comments. I love this to be interactive, especially because it's this late on a Friday night. But what was I saying? Oh yes, it's exceptionally dangerous. Hi, Kelsey, welcome. In the beginning stages of your business, because when you're procrastiplanning, when you're procrastinating doing the thing, and the thing is usually the thing that is going to actually bring clients into your business, it keeps you from getting clients, right? Like when we spend all our time planning on creating a plan to maybe have a plan to eventually do the thing. We're not actually doing the thing. We're not posting on social media. We're not reaching out to conferences to see if we can speak as a keynote speaker. We're not reaching out to people that we know and asking for referrals. We're not doing a lot of visibility things that would potentially get us clients. And that's not good. I mean, unless you're independently wealthy and you don't need to be making money from your business. If that's the case, then please procrastiplan and procrastinate all you want. You do you, boo. You have the money and the means to just do things you want to do. Great. Fully support that for you. But if you're like the rest of us and you need to be making money from your business because you have a meat suit that needs food and shelter and water and a safe place to sleep, and bills to pay and all that stuff, you need to break out of the cycle. Okay. So whatever your method for planning is or procrastinating is, for me, I'm a queen procrastiplanner. For others, you could be a program designer. I know a few of those. I used to be one of those. It's where you design all these programs that you're going to roll out for your business, but you don't actually ever roll them out. Right? You just create them and you get really excited about them and you talk about them, but they never go anywhere. You could be a procrastinating designer where you come up with new websites all the time, but no one ever sees them, right? Because you're creating this website on in a little itty bitty teeny corner of the internet and you're not telling anyone about it. So no one ever ends up there. And oh gosh, I'm getting a text message and I have to respond to it. This never happens in my life. Hold on 1 second. Not yet. Okay. That's so weird. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, so whatever your methods for procrastinating are, I want to just tell you, you're okay. Like, yeah, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. Like, you should be doing a lot of stuff to get clients and make money in your business. And also, like, you're going at your own pace, and that is fine, right? There's a reason why you're procrastinating doing the things. And maybe it's that you have this mindset block that you haven't worked through yet. Maybe you have fears that you haven't addressed yet. Maybe you genuinely just don't know what you're doing, which, if you're starting a business and you've never started a business before and you don't have support to show you what you need to be doing, of course you don't know what you're doing. Let me see. You're having trouble tagging people to share your live stream. I don't know. I didn't even know that you could do that. But thank you, Gabe. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you know people who would want to see this live stream, then maybe send it to them. I'm not sure. I've never tagged anyone like that. Weird, but thank you. I appreciate you. Anyway, so I want you to have like forgiveness and compassion for yourself. Okay. You're going to get past this. Okay. You're going to get past this if it's meant to happen. If you're meant to be a business owner and actually be making money by having clients in your business, you're going to work through this. Sometimes people procrastinate because they genuinely do not want to be a business owner. And that's okay too. There are so many like business gurus out there that shame people for having a 9-to-5 and being employed. No, like that's silly. Like, we need people who are employed, and there's nothing inherently wrong with having a 9-to-5. Each person is different. Each person will feel safe and secure and supported in different ways. For me, because I have ADHD and because I get bored really easily when I have a 9-to-5 job and I only have like one focus, being an entrepreneur, running my own business and starting other businesses is like absolutely perfect for me. It is high stress though. And sometimes that high stress can be too much for some people, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right. So if you find yourself procrastinating a lot in your business, compassion, check in with yourself, check in to see if this is actually what you want to be doing. And if it's not, there's nothing wrong with that. And if it is, then baby, you need to stop being a weenie and you need to start getting to work. You need to move past the fear and stop procrastinating. Hi, Jay. Welcome. Now, let's talk about procrastiplanning. Procrastiplanning is when you sit down and you're like, okay, cool, I got to get to work. I have this business. I want to get some clients. I'm going to create a plan. And it could be like a social media plan. It could be an email campaign. It could be like the plan to get on stages to speak, to be a keynote speaker. And then let me see, Gabe, what's the story behind the hot dog emoji in your profile name? Oh, Gabe. Okay. So my whole tagline is stop being a weenie and start your business already. Hold on. Stay right here. I will be back in like 2 seconds. Hold on. Okay. Gabe, it's not just an emoji. It's a way of life. So funny story, side story. So during the pandemic, there was a night where I had a couple glasses of wine, more glasses of wine. And I had been playing with this saying, stop being a weenie, with my clients. Cause like some of them were just really being a chicken in their business. And they like weren't taking action because they were afraid of doing the thing. So I started saying in like the nicest, like most playful way possible, like stop being a chicken shit, stop being a weenie, and just go and do the thing. And it worked. and the client I told it to went and got a client. They like did a couple brave things and they stopped being a weenie and they got a couple clients and they made several $1,000s and it was amazing. And I was really excited for them. Anyway, fast forward a few weeks. It's like 2020, it was like November. And I'd had, copious amounts of wine. And I decided to change my tagline on LinkedIn to stop being a weenie. And I did it as a joke. I was like, I'm going to do this. It'll be funny for a few weeks and they'll change it. And it took off. And people started like connecting with me and messaging me and being like, oh my God, I'm being a weenie. I need to stop being a weenie in my business and I need to hire you. And I need to connect with you and I need to follow you. And after a few months, I realized that I wasn't going to be able to change it. So I just kind of went with it. And so I have a sign, a neon sign that says stop being a weenie. I have like 3 of these suits that I buy on Amazon. This one has like a coffee stain on it. No, actually that's ice cream because I went and walked around Harwchport on Cape Cod and had an ice cream and it melted. Anyway, I have to get this dry cleaned. Anyway, so my hot dog emoji in my name is just that. It is essentially just stop being a weenie. It's part of the brand. And I wear this a lot. So anyway, I haven't worn it as much lately. But anyway, as we're talking about doing scary stuff in your business, like people are always worried that if they sign on to work with me, that I'm going to make them do something like this. I'm not. Okay. There's scary, like posting on social media for the first time and telling people about your business and being brave in that way. And then there's wearing a hot dog costume. Okay. You don't have to wear a hot dog costume. I promise you. But it does help you start a business and be successful if you stop being a weenie about things and you do the brave shit that's required. So thank you for asking that question. I'm going to take this off because it tends to get a little hot. So hold on one second. Shimmy out of this. Oh God. Whew. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. Does that answer the question about the hot dog emoji? And if you're watching this on Instagram, over on LinkedIn, I have a hot dog emoji in my name. I'm going to close the door. Hold on. Anyway, so yeah, that's the story there. So, okay. So back to procrastiplanning. Okay. So usually when you're starting a business and you're trying to avoid doing the brave stuff, you're trying to avoid like being too public about the fact that you started a business. You're trying to avoid kind of like that. You have this idea that like, if you go on and say that you help people with this thing, that's going to be braggy. Like you're going to have to go and tell people I'm really good at this thing. And that's kind of scary and icky. So like you want to avoid doing that. You're terrified of creating a program that you're actually going to sell. And so you put off doing that because like, you don't want to figure out the pricing. Like, what if someone actually signs up for it? I remember when I was going through my coach training, and through the certification, I remember the first few times I signed clients and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with them? Like I have this training and like, I know how to coach, but like, oh my God, they're going to show up to these calls and expect me to do stuff. And of course I worked it out. And of course I created a program. And of course, like, coaching is one of those incredible services where your clients kind of show up and they have stuff to work on. And so you just kind of dive in and work on it with them. And if they don't have any stuff, you have some really amazing tools to like help them come up with stuff. But when you're just starting, and like, you don't have like the flow yet and don't really understand like how you get into the work. It can be very intimidating. And it's not just for coaching, right? If you're a copywriter and you've never had a copywriting client before, figuring out your whole onboarding process can be really scary. And then what's scarier is doing it for the first time and then doing it for the second time and the third time. It's not until you've done it like a couple dozen times that it actually feels second nature, right? So if you find yourself procrastinating, doing a lot of this stuff, I want you to know, like, there are so many scary bits of starting a business, of launching a business, of growing a business. And like, there are scary things I do in my business every day, every year. I try to push myself in a new way. Like last year, I started a podcast and I go live all the time. Okay. I'm very comfortable live on camera being broadcast to the whole world, essentially. I mean, really, like wherever you are in the world, if you're connected to me, you can see this video. But the idea of recording my voice only and having that like available on all the podcast like areas like or platforms that people could just listen to my voice whenever they wanted. That terrified me. I was so nervous about launching my podcast. I remember the day it went live, it was on a Sunday. It was in October of 2022. And it went live, and I texted my whole family, like extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone. I was like, I have a podcast. It went live today. Blah. And I immediately felt sick. I immediately wanted to throw up because I was like, oh my God, like what if they actually listen to it? Like, it's just terrifying. So starting a business, there's so much to be afraid of. And it's natural. It's natural to be afraid of these things because it's new. Like, yeah, it's human nature to be afraid of doing new things. And second, like it's very visible, right? We have not evolved that much in human history, right? Our not so long ago ancestors, if they did something to piss off the people in their village or in their tribe, and like stepped on the wrong toes, they would be ostracized. They would be like banished to the wilderness to fend for themselves and fight off lions and tigers and bears, oh my, and have to source food. And if they had children, they'd have to, take care of them as well. That part of our brain, that fear, has not evolved out. Okay. So when we're starting a business and when we have to like do stuff that's really visible and it's counter to how we have been with our people previously, it feels like an opportunity for us to get kicked out. It feels like an opportunity for us not only to just not get clients, but to get a serious level of rejection. And this is especially true for my clients who have ADHD like I do. Okay. Rejection sensitivity dysphoria is something that is absolutely no joke. And it's perceived rejection. It isn't even real rejection. We can perceive rejection in the most innocuous interactions. So, as you're really getting real with yourself about whether or not you really want to start this business, you got to identify that there are going to be some things that you're going to do that are going to feel really scary, right? And I always like to talk about, when I learned how to ride a bike, I was terrified of falling, right? And I had training wheels, and I had training wheels for a really, really long time. Like I was such a chicken. All my friends got their training wheels off and they wanted to like go like speeding down our hill. Cause I grew up on a street that was on a hill. Not me. I would go down on my training wheels and I'd have like my hands on the brakes, just like, no, like going as slow as possible. Cause I was so terrified that something would happen and I'd fall over. If you'd asked me before I had my training wheels off to be confident to hop on a bike and start riding, I'd be like, screw you. Well, I was like 7, so I probably wouldn't have said that, but I would have said, no way. There's no way that's possible. And this is really what we get stuck on. We get stuck on waiting to feel ready, waiting to have that comfort level. And it doesn't come. Right? It doesn't come because the only way to be ready to do something is if you do it a couple dozen times. The only way to feel comfortable doing something is to do it a couple dozen times. Randy House, welcome. Good to have you here. My internet is buffing tonight. Or buffering, but not buffing. Buffering tonight. No. Okay. Well, this is going to be saved. So if you want to watch it later, you totally can. But it's great to have you, Randy. So all that to say, the fear is so normal. The fear is so normal. But if you let the fear beat you, if you let the fear stop you in your tracks, like your brain is still going to find ways to convince you that you're working towards your goal. Your brain is very, very smart in this way. And so when we procrastinate, we find different ways, like different bits of work to do instead of the actual work that makes us feel productive. And that's where procrastiplanning can be so dangerous to your business. Okay. Because you sit down and you think about your business and you create a whole plan and it feels really productive because you're doing something, and it's something that like if you were to take action on would actually be like result in stuff, right? Potentially. And then when you're done, you have this finished product. You have these pieces of paper or this like online document that has a whole outline of things that you would need to do. The problem here is that you never do it, right? When you're actually procrastiplanning, you create all these plans and they go nowhere. And yes, hi, Randy. Yes. Oh gosh. Yes. We have some really great people in the chat today. Let me see. Yes. And then live interviews. Omar, hello. Welcome. Oh no, it just keeps looping. Okay. I'm sorry, Randy. I hope that's not happening for too many people. Anyway, yes, we'll see you next time. So anyway, procrastiplanning is absolutely normal. It's not actual work. Like if you find yourself sitting down with a notebook and coming up with elaborate plans and here's what I'm going to do and coming up with content plans and you're not actually doing it, I hate to break it to you, but you're not doing work. You're procrastiplanning and it's not going to get you anywhere. Okay. I also want to acknowledge that if you've never done this before, if you've never started a business before, you've never grown a following on social media, you've never marketed yourself or created an offer. You've never done this before. Why are you holding yourself to the standard that you should have to figure it out on your own? Okay. That is absolutely crazy pants. Okay. And so many people do it because they know that they're smart and resourceful and they've figured out tough things in the past. And they think, okay, well, like I want to start this business. If I'm going to prove to myself that I'm qualified enough to do it, then I'm going to figure it out on my own. And it becomes like a test for how smart you actually are. And no, like you can be the smartest person in the world, but you're not going to understand advanced algebra unless you had a book or some kind of teacher show you how to do advanced algebra. Okay. You're not going to learn on your own. So if you find yourself doing all this procrastiplanning because you just don't know what you should be doing and you're just kind of like trying to put some kind of plan together because you just don't know what you don't know, honey, I want you to book a call with me. And I may not be the right fit for you. I invite so many people to book a call with me who ultimately aren't even my ideal clients. And I still want you to book the call because if you're trying to get this business up and running, you need support and you need some kind of resource that's going to point you in the right direction. And even if you're not my ideal client is someone who has ADHD and who's starting a business where they offer a service, typically like an intellectual service, like copywriting, legal services, consulting, coaching, things in that nature. Even if you're not that person, book a call with me because I want to point you in the right direction. Another resource that I do, it's if you don't want to take up my time one-on-one because you know that we're not destined to work together, that's totally fine. I do a free group coaching call every single fourth Friday of the month. Okay. It's called Brave Biz Labs. If you go to the link in my bio, you can register for this. It is a free group coaching call where you can ask absolutely any question you have on your business. And I'm not the only one there. It's a ton of people in my world. So potentially there are other people there who might be able to answer the question if I don't know it, especially if you're not my ideal client. If you specialize in something else, or if you want to start like a brick and mortar company, that's not my specialty, but there may be people there who can point you in the right direction. As for coming up with an actual plan, an actual strategy that will help your business grow to 6 figures in the next 12 months, on the 28th of December, I am doing a 90-minute workshop where I am breaking down exactly how you create a strategy, not an arbitrary one, not one that's one size fits all, but how you can create a strategy that's customized to your personality, to how you work best, to your strengths, that takes account for your weaknesses and things that you absolutely hate doing. Okay. That factors in your industry, your ideal clients, and all that jazz. In this 90-minute program, we are going to be breaking down exactly what your strategy needs to be for you to hit six figures in the next 12 months. And of course, this is a planning session. And after this planning session, for you to actually have any results from it, you're going to have to get to work. But I have a couple resources for you after the workshop that can help you with that. Anyway, if you're procrastiplanning, this is my battle cry to cut the bullshit and just start working. You got this. If you need support, if you want to talk to me, if you want to figure out how I can support you in your business, go to the link in my bio and click on Generate Income Strategy Call. And we'll hop on for 30 minutes and talk through what your goals are, what you're struggling with, and if it's a fit, and only if it's a fit, we'll talk about different ways to work together. And if you want to come to this workshop on December 28th, then again, actually, you can go to the link in here, and then there's also a link in my bio where you can go and register for that. It's $97, but this is literally breaking down your monthly, weekly, daily action plans that you need to do in order to bring in high-paying clients. And I'm so excited for it. There will also be a very extensive Q&A afterwards. We'll probably go way beyond 90 minutes, but we'll see. It'll flex and grow, and whatever it needs to do, it'll do. Anyway, want to give a big thank you over on Instagram to Kelsey and Jay for being here. And over on LinkedIn and YouTube, thank you to Randy and Gabe and Omar and Jade. I hope you guys found this super helpful. And if you have any questions or you're guilty of procrastiplanning and you didn't want to admit it in the chat, shoot me a DM. And I hope to see you all at the workshop on the 28th. Anyway, I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and money mindset coach, and I will see you all soon. Bye.